this video, I want to talk to you about the importance of email communication. We have two examples and that were written by a former student, both in response to a textbook prompt. And this first is the student that's emailing her fellow group members regarding a problem or breakdown in communication and offering a plan of action for how to move forward. In the second example, we have the same student who is emailing the professor to let him know about the problems with the group communication and what they intend to do to move forward. So when we look at this first email, I'm going to go ahead and read it to you so you can see it in full. It says, "Hi Deanna and Jason, I'm emailing you two to propose a policy to communicate with each other as team members when problems arise. I know that I do not know you as well since we just met, but I would like to make a few suggestions that have worked for me in the past. It's always a good idea to exchange contact information aside from our emails in case something comes up unexpectedly before a scheduled meeting or a deadline. That way we do not have to go through the process of having to compose a formal email or come across internet issues if we were to be writing it from our phones or tablets while being on the go. Communicating through text messaging would be more convenient for unexpected situations. As mentioned in the Technical Communication book in Chapter 4, mobile text messaging is one of the most popular new technologies that has been introduced within the last decade. So if any of you ever have a last-minute unexpected situation, do not hesitate to send a quick text message indicating that something came up and that you are not able to attend the meeting or meet a milestone deadline of the project. Having a heads up about what is going on will help the other team members understand your absence. It will also help the others to keep on working on the project and try to figure out a new task that would be more suitable for the person with the emergency. I'm also aware of several group mobile apps that are helpful in communicating in case any you'll do not have unlimited text messaging. Please feel free to reply to this email with any suggestions, comments, or concerns regarding this matter." So one of the first things that I noticed is that in an email communication, we're missing the subject field. We're also missing a date stamp. This is important as it keeps all the group members on the same page of when the communication went out. I do like that this student does start with a purpose statement and that she's proposing a policy to communicate with each other. So that's important so all readers understand that what the content is about. One of the things you probably noticed as I read is there were some grammatical errors. Words such as "you'll," things that are not capitalized, for example. Maybe even perhaps some run-ons. That's really not such a huge deal when you're talking with your fellow classmates, but in the business world, it's important that even in email, you need to be sure and make sure that you're not having any grammatical errors or spelling errors or anything like that, as it does lessen your credibility with your group members. Also, another thing that you might notice is the entire message is one huge paragraph. So my suggestion would be to break this up into a couple of different paragraphs, and it just helps the reader understand partitioning and helps them to know where to really look. So one of the suggestions also that I have for this is, when the student writes, if any of you ever have a last-minute unexpected situation, it's important in corresponding with fellow group members that you have as clear of expectations as you can. So maybe have something that explains what this might mean, and also, understanding like how much time in advance would be needed, especially when you're talking about a better policy of communication. Another thing that I suggested was when the student mentions here mobile apps. This is a great suggestion, but I would also like to see some examples of that. In the next email, as you'll see, there's a mention of Google apps. And so maybe including that in the message to students, because you can never anticipate that your audience is going to be on the exact same page as you. So making sure that you're as specific as you can along with your purpose statement. But overall, I really like the tone of this message. I thought that the student offers good ideas and suggestions in a very positive way. So I want to turn our attention now to the next example, and I'm going to go ahead and read the email to you. This is written to Dr. Jenkins. This is the professor of the class in question that the students are in a class group with. It says, "Dear Dr. Jenkins, we're emailing you to let you know that one of our team members, Jason Stokes, has not been able to collaborate effectively in our assigned project due to a family emergency. We were not aware that Jason's son was sick in the hospital until we, Deanna and I, decided to call Jason to see if everything was okay and to know what was going on. His wife answered us, and she told us all about the unexpected situation that had arisen in their family. We really hope that his son gets better, and we will be keeping him and his family in our prayers for his recovery. Meanwhile, we want to propose an approach to deal with the fact that Jason will not be able to participate in the collaborative assignments for a while. Clearly, the situation was not planned, and it would not be fair for Jason to lose participating points for something that he cannot control. Therefore, we have decided to go ahead and make a work schedule form. In this form, we will be including the tasks that need to be made by each individual team member and the important milestone due dates. This form will be created keeping in mind Jason's situation, and once completed, the form will be uploaded to a shared document workspace, such as Google Docs. That way, Jason will be able to work on the project at his own time and will not have to worry about having face-to-face meetings until his son gets better. If we were to need a face-to-face communication, we have thought about doing a video conference in order to facilitate things for Jason and his family. Thank you for your time, and we hope that you get back to us with feedback about what Deanna and I have proposed." So in this email, just like in the previous, you'll notice that it's one large paragraph chunk. We're also missing a subject and a date field, which is important for all parties to be on the same page. We're also missing a carbon copy of the other group members. So we want to make sure that Jason is not left out of the loop in this, and all group members need to be on the same page with this. Something that I mentioned to the student when it was written is that this message actually contains a lot of personal information about Jason and his family, and that was actually part of the prompt. It was provided in there, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to use all that information, especially when talking to a professor about a very personal matter. It's not clear exactly how much information Jason might feel comfortable with his professor knowing, and it really violates his privacy. So when you write emails, you need to be really careful of sharing that kind of information, or at least having permissions. Also, I noticed that the email really doesn't get to the point until a little later on. Really, the key here is the fact that the group has a work schedule form. It would be good to have that attached to the email. It's not indicated that is the case here, but it would be good for the professor to see, for all the group members to have, and so forth. So what I do like is that it is very positive, and that the group understands that they want to keep moving in the event that even one group member cannot meet and make all the deadlines. They have different ideas for how to do that. And so as a professor, I like to see that the students are taking the initiatives and they're not just asking the professor for advice. It's good that they're taking that on and acknowledging some possibilities and solutions to the problem. I do want to see a purpose statement earlier in the document. And so again, the focus is on, we're wanting to do a work schedule form. We need to propose an approach to deal with this, and that's really the key. So I think that anytime you can be real clear on that early on in your document, you're going to help the professor out. So hopefully, looking at these examples, both options here, you can see the importance of good communication. It's important to have a positive tone. It's important to protect privacy, but it's also important to have good structure. All things that, especially in an email, are good to include.